The reason anyone gets plastic surgery or cosmetic injections is simple. It's so they can look more beautiful. But we live in a world where attention equals currency. And the more is better mindset has pushed beauty far past natural to enhancements that look manufactured and fake. It's no secret that beauty shapes our lives in profound ways. Just think about the way society treats beautiful people. They're put on pedestals, idolized in the media. They often experience less stress because they're treated more favorably in social and professional settings. Beauty is a status symbol.
If you don't know me, my name is Emily Dowe, and I'm a board-certified PA who specializes in aesthetic medicine. And I focus exclusively on providing natural-looking results for my patients. And some people have questioned why I wouldn't make someone look unnatural. If somebody doesn't mind looking unnatural, why wouldn't I, for instance, give them the lips that they want? Who cares if it looks natural or not? They're paying the money, and who am I to decide whether or not someone's fake lips look attractive? These are all valid questions, and it wasn't until I discovered this book written by a plastic surgeon that I began to truly understand beauty on a much deeper level. This book, called Subliminally Exposed, revealed key secrets about beauty from the subconscious mind, things I'd never considered before. I like to know the why behind everything. So this book explained so much when it came to beauty, like why men find full lips irresistible, what male facial feature leads women to have quicker orgasms, why being too thin can turn men off, but certain curves don't, what a man's face reveals about his success or infidelity, and many, many more. You may not like what you hear in this book, and things I say in this video may trigger some people because it's raw. And it exposes what goes on deep inside our subconscious mind when we look at others. It dives deep into evolutionary biology and neuroscience. And contrary to popular belief, beauty is not as subjective as our politically correct society would like you to believe it is. And just because it's uncomfortable doesn't mean it's not true. When you understand what beauty is and why beauty exists, you'll understand why looking unnatural can really work against you.
Now, in order for you to understand this, I need to take you back to a time which was not long ago, considering how long humans have been around, before plastic surgery and cosmetic injections existed. What is beauty? Beauty is an honest signaling of evolutionary fitness. Why does beauty exist? We think beauty exists because we, as a species who have been around for around 300,000 years, had to survive and give our offspring genes that had the best likelihood of surviving. Since we can't look inside of each other to know who has healthy DNA or genetics, the theory is Mother Nature had to give us a way to recognize or physically display who has healthy genetics that are most fit for producing offspring that are more likely to survive in harsh environments. So beauty is a way of recognizing who is more evolutionary fit. This is why we are hardwired to be attracted to beautiful people. It's why advertisers use attractive people to sell things. Beauty is powerful and it works like a drug, some reporting that it's as addictive as morphine because it works like other things which activate the reward system of our brain, such as food and sex.
If you show men photographs of attractive women looking directly at them, there's a little part of their brain called the nucleus accumbens that lights up.
This explains why the desire to beautify oneself is human nature. When we think we look good, we feel better. As much as 70% of our self-esteem is based on our perception of our physical appearance.
This is a whole basis behind why we seek things out that make us look more attractive, like makeup, Botox, filler, and plastic surgery. And the goal of these treatments is often to improve our self-esteem.
But what happens when we look at someone who looks like they've been obviously enhanced or unnatural looking? Does it spark the same positive, pleasurable experience?
Yeah.
But it's also completely exaggerated, right? Like giant tits, small waist, enormous ass,
Giant lips.
Yeah. Oh, that's the saddest one because that doesn't work.
No, you look like a fish.
Oh, the lip one is such a bad move, and you're ruining the thing you kiss with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like your fucking lips.
It's all on a sliding scale. There's nips and tucks, slight adjustments, but we're getting to the point to where it's becoming comical. I live in Atlanta. And I'm looking at some women that have some of the most comical proportions. Jessica Rabbit was a cartoon character for a reason.
Her butt is it's a surgical creation. It's a distortion. There's so much going on there because you're not supposed to have that much fat in one place. A girl who has an ass like that has legs to match it. It's just
obnoxiously
bad
large ass.
message. It's like those guys that shoot synthol into their muscles
the
to get
synthol,
fake
sure.
muscles. It's the same thing. Like that's not a real ass. Like
I know,
just
yeah.
like those synthol muscles are not real muscles.
Research has shown that unnatural-looking enhancements do not elicit the same pleasurable impression. In fact, exaggerated enhancements can often elicit a negative subconscious response, like the kind you just saw. And the reason why is because
Beauty is an honest signaling of evolutionary fitness.
So why don't people who look unnatural elicit the same pleasurable, positive impression that someone who looks naturally beautiful does?
If we go overboard with impression enhancements, we can ignite the opposite response by tipping off someone's subconscious mind that we are trying to hide something, like bad genes, poor health, or even deceit.
So looking unnatural can signal manipulation rather than authenticity, breaking the good gene illusion. This goes back to the evolutionary theory that beauty is an honest display of genetic fitness. If someone has to go to extreme lengths to alter their appearance, it can suggest that their natural genetics were so flawed and required drastic measures to mask their perceived deficiencies. If you don't believe this or what I'm saying, ask yourself this one question. Why don't celebrities admit to plastic surgery? Comment below and let me know. That's for another video. But beyond signaling inauthenticity, there's another surprising consequence of looking unnatural. People are claiming that filler ages you. There are all these videos on YouTube and Reddit posts about how filler is making people look old. We need to address this because filler was originally designed to treat facial aging and enhance features. Filler, by design, is meant to help people look younger, not older.
As you can see in this before and after photo, we did 4 syringes of filler with the goal of her looking younger.
But when filler is used excessively and there's a lack of aesthetic judgment, and when providers go beyond the natural anatomy of the face and too much filler is injected, this can cause the skin to appear overly firm, leading to a loss of softness and natural contours. That's when we see the opposite of the intended result. It's this overdone fake look that's actually making people look older, not the filler itself.
Brielle and Molly May are perfect examples of how overfilling can make someone look older. After years of overfilling her lips, Brielle actually stated she was going to dissolve her lip filler to look 18 again. So she dissolved her old lip filler and had her lips refilled again for a more natural looking enhancement, and now I think she looks younger. The same with Molly May. She looks younger after dissolving some of her filler to her jawline and her lips.
So if this is true, and unnatural enhancements can have such a negative impact, signaling inauthenticity or even sparking subconscious doubts about the person's genetic fitness, it begs the question, why would someone want to look fake?
In the past, looking like you had obvious plastic surgery wasn't a bad thing. It was a status symbol. Throughout history, the elite have always sought ways to visibly separate themselves from the lower classes. Nefertiti and Cleopatra adorned themselves with makeup crafted from luxurious materials that weren't easily accessible to common people. European aristocrats wore extravagant, towering wigs that served as ostentatious displays of wealth and sophistication. Asian empresses used pearl powder to achieve smooth, pale, and flawless skin that signified nobility and freedom from manual labor. In more modern times, cosmetic surgery became the ultimate tool to flaunt privilege. Plastic surgery was limited to only those who could afford both the time and expense. It became a tool to reinforce class distinction, and the socially climbing elite tolerated the obvious level of cosmetic surgery alterations in order to better fit in with the upper class.
Even today, in certain circles and cultures, exaggerated enhancements still serve as markers of affluence. This article reports that the Instagram generation views tweakments as a status symbol and that people under 30 years old are overdoing Botox and fillers, and this visibly enhanced look has become a fashion trend comparable to wearing a designer label. Another theory we can't ignore about those who don't mind looking fake is the desire for attention.
I met a girl the other day that had diaper butt. She was at the Comedy Store, and I couldn't look away. I was like, what is happening to her butt? Because I knew it wasn't real. I knew she had, like,
So
she had these spindly legs.
Yeah, the skinny legs,
Yeah.
and then the...
I think it's a competition. I get people have their own insecurities with their, their self mentally. But in today's world, I'm just seeing like people really just doing this shit just to be doing it.
Yeah.
Like with no, like it ain't even no standards no more.
Yeah.
Like it's like I want the attention from the guys, because I think that's what it is too now. Like,
I could agree with that.
And it is sad, man. Like, and we can go on and on and on.
But there's another explanation for why some people look unnatural, and it speaks to a deeper struggle, and it brings us to a really important question.
Is it ethical to always give patients what they want? If an aesthetic provider thinks someone is going down an unhealthy rabbit hole or may have body dysmorphia, do we continue to treat them?
You know, there's some surgeries that we see, and I'm like, I can't believe a doctor okayed that, like the cat lady, Jocelyn.
The problem is, there's, you know, in our specialty, there's a lot of emotional instability. And she represents that.
Yeah.
But the problem is, somebody will do it. So once she's decided she's going to do it, somebody will do it.
When we see these kind of surgeries, like we see these outrageous things, is there, I mean, a responsibility on the doctor to say,
I think so. I think it's an ethical responsibility. They're looking to make a quick buck, and they'll do it, you know, as long as the check clears.
But that's scary as a potential patient going in to know that anything I ask for, I could probably get,
right,
even at my own detriment, because you're willing to do it if you're, you know, you don't have the integrity.
Realize that you're always going to be able to find a provider who will do what you want. Like that plastic surgeon said, someone will always do it because they're making money. So they could be profiting off of someone else's dysmorphia when that person could have really used a therapist.
Those who want to look drastically different from what they were born with seem to have more of a never-ending body dysmorphia, constantly seeking the next treatment to alter their appearance, never seeming to be happy with anything.
This is why I feel there's a certain amount of self-acceptance that you need to have when undergoing any cosmetic procedure, whether that be plastic surgery or face injections. And this brings us to the critical question.
Do natural-looking enhancements spark the same pleasurable impression than if the person were naturally or genetically born that way? According to Dr. Diane's research, natural-looking enhancements do give the same pleasurable impression. We appreciate and gain pleasure from something that is beautiful when we believe it is the real thing.
That's probably because what looks natural looks honest. After getting a deeper understanding of beauty, this became the whole reason why I chose to exclusively provide natural-looking results. There's nothing wrong with enhancing your look, but it has to harmonize with the rest of your features rather than trying to go against them. Knowing the limitations of how much filler you can put in someone's lips in order to keep their lips looking natural is a perfect example. There's the reason that many well-respected plastic surgeons and injectors feel that good work is never noticeable. There's been a growing awareness of the psychological impact of looking fake, and this has driven many people to dissolve their fillers. Breast explant surgeries have been on the rise, BBL reversals are happening, and more people are opting for skinny BBLs that look more natural. What I've noticed is it takes time for people to come to the realization that the enhancements that were supposed to make them look more beautiful have instead had the opposite effect, making them look unnatural, older, or even unrecognizable to themselves. This is why I feel embracing our individuality is critical, and we should tread carefully as we navigate everyday life on social media and in watching television and movies. It's okay to admire someone else's beauty, but realize we are not all meant to look alike or have the same features, and that's what's beautiful.
How can I avoid the overdone look?
The cosmetic injector you choose has a very influential job on how they choose to make you look, not just in the treatments they recommend, but in knowing when to say no. Patients don't always understand their limitations, so it's important to find a provider who prioritizes your best interests and won't put making a profit above delivering natural-looking results. So make sure you choose them wisely. Work with providers who prioritize natural-looking results. Look at their before and after photos. Are you working with a provider who isn't afraid to tell you no? What does the provider look like? Do they look natural? And when it comes to addressing anti-aging, do they solely rely on filler? Facial aging becomes this uphill battle, and those who want to remain looking as youthful as they can realize it's always a work in progress. And I don't think it's a good idea to solely rely on filler, because filler can accumulate in the skin tissue and result in giving the skin a firm, unnatural appearance. This is why I feel regenerative treatments, which work to restore and rejuvenate the skin, are the future of aesthetics. They provide a more sustainable and natural approach to targeting facial aging. While many people want to avoid looking overdone or fake, there'll always be those that like that look, and some deliberately choose that more exaggerated look to stand out, attract attention, or even use it as a status symbol to signal wealth and privilege. What do you guys think when you see people that look unnatural? Let me know in the comment section, but don't forget to watch these videos next.